Hey everybody, this is Al from El Rey Collection, and we're here today to talk about some epic cardboard of probably one of the most important Italian players of all time. We're talking about Giuseppe Meazza, and he is probably not as well known as some of the other mega stars in the game. But if you trust IFFHS, he's certainly one of the top few players of the first half of the century, and truly an Italian legend, having one of the largest stadiums in Milan named after him to this day. So he was an epic goal scorer, one of the first and few players that have still won two World Cups in 1934 and 38. He still holds some Serie-A records. I think like he was like the youngest to he still is the let's see what is it, like the youngest debut player to score 30 plus goals. He had in total 300 plus goals in his career. He was a captain of the 38 World Cup team. He he just his achievements just keep going on and on. He won the Golden Ball. He was on the All-Star team. So it's just he's one of these players that if you do get into pre-war vintage collecting, you're going to come across him. And again, for such an important footballing nation, still many people believe he was the best footballer to ever play for club and country. So, I think that this channel is about cards, and it's a bummer to have such an iconic player start off with some controversy in his cards, and especially as it relates to rookie cards. So what you're gonna see here, this very first card on the in the demonstration here, is an unknown chocolate producer. So a couple things that you're gonna see through all these Italian guys from the 1930s, well into the 1930s, is a manufacturer would manufacture cars and they would sell it to small chocolate shops, whether they were in Rome or Florence or Milan, and then those chocolate companies would usually stamp their advertising on the back, and give them out when you bought chocolate, or they'd forget to stamp them on the back and they just hand it out as a little gift when you bought it something at a chocolate shop. And so, unfortunately, we don't have amazing records, and you can go through a bunch of Italian websites. Usually they're team websites where people are documenting the history of the teams, and they'll put cards on there to kind of let you know more or less the time frame that they are. The problem is it's really difficult to date, and so you need to spend quite a bit of time looking at uniforms, trying to decide, okay, were they here, were they there? But even the typesetting could have been incorrect. So, I think that there's a lot of difficulty in trying to figure this out. Now, SGC was quite, I'd say, accommodating to this reality that surrounds Italian cards. And I talked to them a number of years ago, and I said, well, since we don't know when the exact card is issued, if we do, great, and we can narrow that down, like you'll see in some of these cases. But if we don't, can we just label them unknown chocolate producer, because they're all over the place, and there's 100 different sources where you can see these are legit, issued over years, many using the same photos. And so they said yes, and that's why you're going to see on slabs, a lot of my slabs, and some that are out there in the market, where it says Editore Sconoso Cioccolate, which is basically shorthand. It sounds like an official set. It's not. It's shorthand for unknown chocolate producer. So you're going to see that on slabs, especially older SGC slabs. honestly, it's been such a long time since I've submitted anything there. I don't know if they would do that anymore. So in a way, these are vintage slabs, vintage cards and vintage slabs. I just wanted to have them protected with these custom cuts because they're amazing, amazing collectibles. So this particular card and the variations of it show that there's much talk about when this photo was taken. Some people think this photo was taken as late as 1930. So you're going to see him here, and he looks like he's 12, which, by the way, he started with the senior team when he was 17. So, and here it's Internacional. They would later change their name to Ambrosia as well. So, I have seen both sides of the story. People talking about what the uniforms were like on the junior team, if those photos were taken then versus these photos in 1930. The true answer to this is I don't know. And so I'm going to go with, I think I have a bias towards saying that these are, 1927-ish, 27, 28. But, I also wouldn't be heartbroken if they're 1930s. These are some of the, earliest cards, either any way you want to slice it. And for me, I think it's just beautiful. And look at this. I love this action step and the clarity that you can see of him. So anyway, that's what I'm going to say for now. I still consider that to be one of his first cards and potentially his first card. This same photograph, which you'll see, same image here on that half of the card, is later cropped and used in individual cards of different colors. This one's a little hard to see with the camera, but it's in green, but it's the exact same image. Let me see if you can see this any better. Maybe that angle. Yep. So it comes in green, it comes in brown, it comes in black. There's a couple that actually have printed backs, but most of them are blank. Again, so you're going to see these inconsistencies you walk through his cards, but they're just amazing collectibles. I cannot stress enough. So there's a few of these action from 1927 here, where you see Meazza here, and he looks like he's going to change directions with the ball. So there's a bunch of these in action shots that are pretty cool. I wish they were a little bigger so you could actually see. So I'll put it down here. You can't really appreciate it, but as I bring it up to the camera, you can see him here breaking through two defenders. Will he get there? I don't know, but there he is. So he's in the middle, and some of them, like this, for instance, the forgot to show the back. Really cool back. Isaiah Chocolate Caramel Confectionery. This one here has chocolate and caramel a Magalungari. So these are again, some of them are blank backs. This is another Isaiah back with Meazza over here, and then this one he's over here. So these little small, in action ones are some of the earliest cards. The one that I most like, and those of you who see my top 20, my top 10 cards in the 1920s will remember this one. Here he is. Just beautiful image. Let us sit down, and this is just, gosh, this is the Chocolate Lorati, and I don't care, 2.5, but what an image! This young superstar, budding superstar, right here, amazing. Here's a Chocolate Sani. You can see sometimes they have the Zani, which is going to be a prolific set throughout the 1930s. This time they advertise on the front. Normally they advertise on the back. But here you got him heading the ball. Look at that! Look at that lift. He was supposedly incredibly fluid with the ball. Another thing that's really cool that you'll later see in um, Argentina and Uruguay are these metal little discs, which are just super amazing. This is after Internacional changed the name to Ambrosia, then ultimately change it back. But these little, it's like little metal, and there's a painted image on it. They're usually have scratched metal backs like this. Sorry for all this glare here today, guys. But it's these are just so special. I sent some additional ones of these to SGC, and they didn't want to grade them anymore. I don't know. Again, and then if you saw my favorite cards in general, and if you follow my avatar, you may have seen this card, which is the Stagni Petasoni Mesa. Truly one of my favorite cards in my collection. Probably not the most valuable, but certainly for me, the art of this card is insane. The back is just incredible as well. So this, I mean, I'm actually just gonna let it sit here for a second as you kind of take this card in. I just think it's literally an epic, uh, you know, epic cardboard. And here you can also see they're using the Ambrosia name. Ambrosiana, I'm sorry. I don't know why I always had that wrong in my brain. Oh well, I guess your brain can't hold everything, right? So here are some other really kind of uncommon ones. This is Sorpresa Calcio, and this is from around 1930. That's cool back, the rare cool back in an Italian 1930s issue. This is another really tough one. It's called La Job, 1930. Look at that, super cool little card. Really cool back. I'm sorry about the glare today, guys. I don't know why this is so tough. But yeah, La Job, another really cool card. And there's other player, obviously, as with most of these sets, there's other players worth getting in all of these. This is really a very beautiful design here with like the off center background in yellow where the blue and black just pop. Yeah, it's just amazing with the red cross up here. This one, was pasted into an album, but you can still see clearly Cioccolatesani, which, is one of the more important brands. Here's the another Cioccolatesani. Don't know the exact year. SGC thinks it's 1932. They could be right. I'm a little unsure on that. So there's another Zani. Here's a full body pick. Yeah, I'm in a half body pick similar to the one that we saw from 1927. Now you can see he's kind of grown into be a man, not just a boy, and he's tough here. Looks very similar to a lot of the photos you'll see of him right around the 34 World Cup. Basically, what I'd probably define as his prime. So you'll start to see this image used a lot, and from a bunch of different manufacturers. This particular one is La Vincentini. This maker had a blue back, and then they have a yellow back, I believe, as well, with the same advertising. This one's taken a little farther away. This Mesa. Again, most of these, or not most of them, but I'd say about 50-50 are just going to have blank backs. This one is hand cut. This is a nice bigger one. Really beautiful card. So it's, and again, the whole 1934 team, I think, has cards like this. Although they said this is 30s. I think that's closer to 1934. These are blank backs, and based on my guesstimate, I think these are mostly hand cut. I've seen a number of them that don't have perfect cuts, so it makes me think that they're hand cut. Um, this is probably one of the more common ones that you can find out there. Still worth picking up. I mean, my general advice to anybody who doesn't have any is pick one or two of these up for the collection. I have a hypothesis that, if more people get involved in soccer collecting and think that, they want to just collect the ultra important players, you don't have to go very far down the list before you're running into Meazza. So here's this one from 1934, issued for the World Cup. Again, look at that, beautiful, and different from some of the other ones that we've been seeing. So that's kind of like a good first run of these. We some of these issues we do clearly know, like this one here, the Il Balali, 1935. It's actually a really nice copy. Blank back. Still very, very nice. And, when you get into... This is Incas out of Florence. Firenze. Cool back. Same, but the same... what do you call image is used elsewhere. I like this little pog. It's different from the metal disc. This one is cardboard, and I'm not exactly sure how they dated this 33, 34, but it is a Cioccolate Salvi from Milan, which is great because that's his hometown. And I love that little disc. Always trying to add mesas that I don't have. Here's a David, and you can see on the back the David from Torino. So all these little different geographies are going to have their different cards. This particular one I really like. It's like a photographic stock. Not very common. No idea who manufactured this, but unbelievably beautiful with this blank back. So just look at that. That's like a close-up of the other one where we saw half body from just, pecs and up. Some of these nice lithographs are really kind of insane in terms of how pretty they are. Blank back, so I won't show you that. Same here. This is a very different card. You don't see many of these like this. So based on the uniform, I'd say, what's that? Certainly mid-30s, I guess. Here's an example that I was talking about earlier with the L. Vicentini. Sorry for my butchering this Italian. And you can see the letters there. This is red. So they have different what do you call? Just colors, I guess. This one's in really poor shape. That's why it gets an A. But what I liked about this is a very unique back. Like vitamin. So I'm not exactly sure the overall context on this, but very unique back. And so even though the face is destroyed, which you'll find a lot of them, that it's Meazza from the other cards. Some of these, here's a gorgeous lithographic one. This, just really nice. Again, blank back. This one's probably slightly less than the size of a normal trading card now. Just thinner, but probably about the same height. Whereas most of these other cards are smaller. Here's this one, a little faded out. I think this is towards the end of his career. I'd say late 30s here. But, still absolutely worth getting. I don't think I showed this one. It was a similar one. And there's sometimes just slight differences in the cards, not just the backs. But, the image of how zoomed in it is from one to another. Again, blank backs. Here's another Zani, different placement of the ad on his shoulder. So, and this one has the ad on the front and the back, so they're probably trying to get even more bang for their buck. And then here's just a more standard blank one with a blank back. Same image as you saw before. This one's probably, there are two main images that you see on all these unknown chocolate manufacturers. This is one, this profile looking to the side, blank back. And then the other one, which you'll commonly see, in a lot of different places, is this one, which is the where he's looking straight at the camera. I think they use this one for his Wikipedia. And here's a really cool back. Oh, and then I actually, as he gets later in his career, they have a bunch of different, whenever they're talking about the history of players, you'll see that they usually have him. I'm going to grab some others that I meant to grab. Sorry for the suddenly going off camera, but I'll show you also a bunch of cards that that I don't have graded as yet. But you'll see some of these older cards, even some Panini albums will have, and Panini from the 1960s will also include him as a great, as remembering the 1934-38 World Cups that they won. Here's a couple of other, I think I had mentioned these discs. So there's a disc, an awesome Meazza disc. Here's another little disc, and this one maybe was supposed to be a charm. It has a little hole in the top and its rise there, so maybe it's supposed to be a charm on a bracelet or something. Also, probably based on the picture, that one's probably 30s. This is a weigh card. So, a lot of this was typical in Spain and Italy, from what I can tell. You go in and weigh your groceries. You're buying a couple pounds of, whatever. You would stamp it, and it would have the date, like this one was, however many kilos, whatever, 0.05. So it would be, this weighed almost nothing. And then this, I'm going to assume was in September of 1934. I don't know what the maybe the gate 47, I don't know, but these are weigh cards. They're actually quite common in a number of countries, but most of them that I find are from Spain and Italy, and so they have all these markings on them. Still pretty really cool collectible, and had a real use. Here's another blank back Meazza. These are basically ones that you've seen before. I don't think we had this one out there. Also an unknown 30s one. Here's the same picture that we're mentioning, but in color with a yellow background. And Piola, I think, and Monti also have these, and so there's green backgrounds, red backgrounds, but they're all just really cool. Here's another one. This particular one's photographic. It came out of an album, so I don't know what the back is. I think we actually saw these, but this one, maybe the one I was thinking of, the yellow back. We just saw a red. I think we've seen this one before. This is that great pose. Love this pose. Now I'm realizing I actually have quite a few of his cards. I mean, I've always been a huge believer in him as so this is a Zani with the advertising on the front and on the back. This is one of my favorites. I haven't been able to pin it down. I really want to pin it down. It's a different image. It's harder to see here, but these little graphics are this really kind of cool yellow color. It's a little clipped here, so it's probably going to be an A, but I'd love to get this slabbed. Very cool. When we originally talked about, his first card, this is the brown version. I think I showed the green, um, and the black, and then the blue, which had, both players on. So there's that one. And then, if you, um, yeah, I got some. I think most of these, you guys, I think I showed. He obviously he'll show up on these team cards. So if you want to look at those, if they start to become too expensive, a lot of people gravitate to the team cards, and it's interesting that they were going by the name of Ambrosiana, um, for a while, which is kind of cool if you're kind of a club legends. These are hard to see. I mean, you can see them with a loop, and again, we have, I don't know if I had this one, graded, but very cool in action ones. Actually, I think I did have these. I think I showed these earlier. Anyway, a bunch of ungraded stuff as well. But I think it's not too late to get on the Meazza train. If you ask me, I think that that these cards in general have just such importance from a player perspective, from a country perspective, from a history perspective. So if you read up on him and think that he kind of fits whatever you're collecting mantra is, then I would say go out and try to add his cards. They're definitely, at least from my perspective, drying up. Because as they should be, because they're really kind of special cards, and I think they check all the boxes for what I consider things to be epic cardboard. So I hope that you have enjoyed this kind of run through of cards. I don't have all of his cards by any stretch of the imagination. There's many more versions because of what we had said of different cities, different chocolaterias, issuing cards, but they're all kind of magical. And I hope that that you guys like this video, and you'll smash that like button, and you'll subscribe to get more content about some of the greats of the game, and particularly their epic cardboard. Thanks so much, everybody.